It was a tough day for the batters on day one of the first test between South Africa and Bangladesh. It's crazy that the pitch is behaving the way it is on day one of the test match. It's been quite a low scoring game so far, with a lot of wickets falling over the first day and over the of this test match. And I'm going to be talking about the approach from South Africa, the toss, what was the right decision at the toss, whether Bangladesh picked the right option, will this benefit South Africa, and in the long run throughout this test match, will this benefit South Africa more as the game sits currently, or will it be more beneficial for Bangladesh, seeing that they have the lineup that they do? But before we get going, before we get started with today's show, please subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. Also, don't forget to smash that like button on your way in, comment and share. Also, on your way out, smash that like button. I'd also like you guys to please subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine, and this is your review show. I'm your host, Khalid Moeddin, and this is the show where we speak about everything that happened on day one of the first test between South Africa and Bangladesh. South Africa are sitting in a weird situation, I would say. I don't know if I should say that we're in control, and at the same time, I don't know if I should say that I feel comfortable with the position that we're in currently. It's a very interesting scenario that took place today in Bangladesh in this first test. South Africa are currently in the lead, as you guys can see on the graphic, and we had to work very hard to get into the 34-run lead. It was by no means easy from a South African perspective. We struggled to get to this point, and it's been a really tough day for all the batters involved. No man, I am an idiot. Sorry, I'm just checking something, and I made a mistake in the Facebook post with regards to the report. I got the lead a little bit wrong. Um, but South Africa, at to some degree, I would say that South Africa are in a decent position, I would say, given the circumstances of today's match. Now, South Africa lost the toss today, and Bangladesh opted to bat first on this wicket. Now, at first glance, when you looked at the wicket, it looked quite hard and it did seem quite brown. So, batting did seem to be the right move from the early evaluation of the pitch. And even the Bangladesh captain said it at the crease that they're really happy that they're going to get an opportunity to bat first because they feel that this pitch is going to deteriorate on day 2, day 3, day 4, etc. Even get to that stage in this test match. But then things went completely south for them, I would say, because South Africa's seamers ended up being right on top of them. We were getting movement of the pitch, good bounce, variant bounce as well, because variable bounce as well because the ball was sometimes keeping a little bit low, but we were getting good angles off the seam. We were getting a little bit of swing in and out. And the accuracy from particularly Vian Mulder up front was key. Vian took 3 wickets to really put South Africa in a very good position. He actually reduced Bangladesh to 21 for 3 after 5.5 overs. And then came the big historic wicket of from KG Rabada to reach that 300 mark. KG is making history, and there's quite a few records that he kind of broke today. There is a lot of respect from me for KG Rabada. I love his action, the type of bowler he is, the aggression he bowls with, etc. And he managed to take his 300th wicket, but and at the same time also reduce Bangladesh to 40 for 4 after 13.5 overs. So South Africa were really finding ways to take wickets against this Bangladesh batting attack. The 300 wickets and what that means for KG. It means that he's the third fastest by matches to reach that 300 wicket mark for South Africa. So if you take the amount of matches he played and how many wickets he took in the amount of matches he's played, he sits third on the list. And that is behind Dale's, with 65 test matches, of course, to get to 300 wickets. Dale Steyn and Alan Donald reached it in their 61st and 63rd test matches, respectively. So obviously Dale Steyn is 61 and Alan Donald at 63 test matches. But the stat that I'm really impressed with was the stat that showed in the strike rate of Rabada and at what and in how many balls he took 300 wickets. That is the stat for me that really is magnificent. Kaiji Rabada has played 65 matches, but he's taken his 300 wickets in 11,817 balls. The fewest out of any bowler ever in history. Waqar Younis is second from Pakistan. He also did it in 65 matches, but he took 12,602 balls to get to that landmark. Dale Steyn did it in 61 matches, but he did it in 12,622 balls. Alan Donald is the next on that list from South Africa, 63 matches, 13,690 balls. So those are the guys that are really, really important. And then you've got Marshall on the list in 13,755. Then you've got Truman on the list, 14,599. Then you've got Mitchell Stark on the list in 74 matches, 14,917, and so on and so forth. So that's amazing from KG Rabada. I'm quite impressed with the way he's performed for South Africa and that he's done it in such a few deliveries. But the real major thing that stands out there is his strike rate. He's the only person on this list that has a strike rate below 40, 39.39. The rest all are above 40, 42, 41, 50, 45, 48, 49, 50, etc. So KG Rabada, well done. Congratulations for this achievement. It's exceptional what you've done here as a fast bowler for South Africa. He's brilliant. And at this stage of the match, I was really happy because when the spinners came in, the first portion of the match was obviously dominated by the seamers. But when the spinners came in, they did their part as well. We reduced them to 45 for 5 when Lytton Das was removed by Rabada for his 301st wicket. But after that, it was all spinners from there on out. Maharaj took the wicket of Mehdi Hassan Miraz in the 27th over and reduced him to 60 for 6. Then it was 76 for 7 when Muhammadul Hassan Joy was removed. He was bowled by Dane Pitt with another test wicket to his name. Then Jakar Ali got dismissed halfway through the 31st over, and it was 76 for 8. And then it was 102 for 9 when Naeem Hassan was dismissed by Maharaj again. Is that right? No, that was Rabada, sorry, for his third. And then the final wicket was taken by Maharaj over here, as you can see. Taijul Islam in the 41st over, the first ball of the 41st over. So Bangladesh were all out for 106, the second lowest total in Bangladesh. So it's crazy that a team that's supposed to be used to the conditions were struggling on this pitch. That's the crazy thing about this, because I thought at least when they batted first and they elected to bat first, that they'd be in the driving seat in this match. South Africa actually started quite well with the bat, I would say. Tony de Zorzi was batted really well, other than Aiden Markram now. Okay, Aiden Markram got a very good delivery. Hassan Mahmood, the ball angled in from fifth stump and took him completely out and took out the middle stump. The movement of this pitch has been crazy. On day one, guys, that's the crazy thing for me. But then we kind of started to find our feet a little bit. And Tony de Zorzi and Tristan Stubbs actually batted quite well. They brought up South Africa's 50. They had a partnership of 41. And Tristan started off with a very positive approach. And I was very happy with that, because I thought that maybe that's the way we need to approach this game, is play a little bit more positive than tentative. But he started off quite quickly with a boundary and everything, and he got some good shots away, some reverse sweep he scored a four with. And then he kind of got stuck into being a little bit more tentative and watchful, blocking off the back foot, etc., and being stuck in his crease, where I felt he could have maybe moved his feet a little bit more, double-stepped a couple of balls, or stepped out of his crease a little bit more to take on, to meet the ball at the bounce. And he ended up getting trapped in his crease. And Taijul Islam took his wicket, and that was the first of his fifer today, because we couldn't handle him today. He was ultimately the main destroyer for Bangladesh. And Tristan was out for 23. But then Tony de Zorzi and David Bedingham looked like they were starting to build some momentum. But then David Bedingham as well, he went out to Islam as well, tried to play a little bit aggressively to off the back foot there, and then nick the ball. The ball did stay very low though, and he edged the ball, of course, into the slips. Sorry, to the keeper. Sorry, he edged the ball to the keeper. Then Ryan Rickleton came in, and I was really excited about this because he came out to the crease and he looked quite comfortable. And he was batting really well, in my opinion. But then he similarly fell in a similar fashion to almost Bedingham in a way. He scored 27. And I thought that South Africa at this point were on 99. Sorry, before Ryan Rickleton lost his wicket, it was Tony first. And that's what I felt was where Bangladesh started to take some control of the match, because we were on 99 for 4. And I thought Tony de Zorzi batted really well to get to his 30. I mean, the guy faced 72 balls for his 30, doing all the hard yards again, similarly like he did in his first innings against the West Indies, his first ever match. Did all the yards to get to himself in, but I felt he was still stuck in a tentative approach. And I think that was his downfall in the end. I think they needed to maybe, once they got to that 99 run mark, into the 90s and closer to the total. But I think the mindset was to get themselves in the lead probably, and then start playing a little bit more expansive and put the pressure on Bangladesh. But unfortunately, Tony lost his wicket and Ryan Rickleton lost his wicket. Tony lost his wicket, and then Matthew Breedsky lost his wicket in close succession. And South Africa were really now in trouble, because it was 99 for 5 after 28 overs, and Matthew Breedsky on debut got a duck. I mean, he left the ball, thought it was going to turn, and it actually just kept straight, and it went into his off stump. So that was a little bit of a problem that South Africa found themselves in. But then I thought that Calvarena and Rickleton would start to build a nice partnership and get things going again. They managed to at least take South Africa into the lead. They got 108 and we were 2 runs into the lead. But then Ryan Rickleton lost his wicket. And now South Africa are currently sitting with a little bit of a problem because the last two recognized batters are at the crease. But both of them have played positive, a lot more positively than the others. So than the other batters did. You saw Calvarena double step, move out of his crease, play a couple of sweep shots, reverse sweeps as well. Vian Mulder similarly doing the same. And they're both on 18 and 17 respectively in almost the same amount of balls. Carl is 18 of 32 and Vian Mulder's on 17 of 31. And South Africa ended the day on 140 for 6 with a lead of 34, and they had to come off the field because of bad light. So that's why I'm a little bit earlier as what I would have expected with regards to this review. So where do we sit now currently with this team, and where are we? How do I see this match unfolding or day two unfolding? I do feel that Calvarena and Vian Mulder have a massive, massive task on their hands. If these guys can stay at the crease and bat for majority of the day tomorrow, well, I think at least until after lunch, we can be sitting with a lead of 100 at least, and that should be the target. First target. The first target should be about 100-run lead. I guess they might have to set themselves smaller targets first, maybe 50 first, take themselves to 50 lead, and then try to push to that 100-run lead. Because I feel if we can get ourselves into a 100-run lead, I think South Africa will be in a good position. This pitch is only going to turn more, and it's going to get worse as the days go by, I think. That's my prediction right now. I don't know. It depends how much work the groundsmen do on this wicket and how much they can maybe alter the wicket in a more positive surface to bat on. We don't know how they're going to operate with regards to that. So we're going to have to wait and see how the pitch operates tomorrow morning. I think that both players will probably need to be a little bit more tentative in the beginning stages, just to kind of see off a little bit of the swing, and then start to get themselves moving and get um, some momentum. Everybody got starts and never pushed on. So I'm hoping Calvarena and Vian Mulder can prove to the South African public that they have I don't want to say the balls, but that they have the knack for Test cricket, that they have the ability for Test cricket, and that they can fight it out there and put South Africa in a strong position. So at least we are ending the day in the lead. We don't have to think about that now. All the runs that we can possibly score now should be the mentality. And then when Keshav Maharaj, Dane Pitt, KG Rabada come into the mix, they can start playing a little bit more aggressively and try to get as many runs as possible as additive bonus. So, yeah, that's the match situation after day one. And it was definitely the bowlers' days today. 100% has to be. That's how you have to look at it. And it's a little bit sad in a way, because I do feel that it's not the best game to watch from an entertainment perspective. Great game to watch if you're a bowler, but if you love batting and you love big totals, etc., then it's not the most entertaining match to watch. But at the same time, it's a great learning curve for these new guys in the squad. They are going to be taking a hell of a lot of lessons from this first match. So this is great that they are getting this opportunity. What I also want to praise is that Coach Shukri decided to go very batter heavy today. He never, he wasn't scared to pick Ryan Rickleton as an extra batter. He did point towards that in the press conference, and he did say that he would probably play the left-hander in the middle order, and he did say that Vian Mulder would probably, he said he would most definitely play, and I'm glad that he stuck to that decision. He stuck to his guns with regards to that, and he didn't change his mind on that at all. So I'm very happy with that decision because, as you can see, we need our batters now. We needed as many batters as possible to try and take the score to a decent um, level. So overall, I'm not happy and I'm not upset with the situation because it's understandable. I'm relatively satisfied with the way things have gone so far. Um, I do wish that our batters could have maybe survived a little longer, maybe been a little bit more positive once they got themselves settled. But unfortunately, that is not the case right now. And I'm hoping that Calvarena and Vian Mulder can really push us into a strong lead so that we can make life difficult for Bangladesh. I do think that Aiden Markram will probably bowl overs if the pitch continues to deteriorate. So at least we have that option. And given that he didn't score any runs really in his first innings, he'll have to put up his hand with the ball this time around for his team. Let's get into the live chat. Waka says, "Congratulations, KG. What an achievement." Muhammad Amin says, "Imagine how many wickets he'd have if we played as many tests as England." Exactly my point. Uh, that I'd like to make when you're talking about James Anderson. Everybody's saying James Anderson's one of the best, is the best bowler in the world, whatever. He's not even on that list for the fewest balls to reach the 300 wicket mark. He's played so many tests, probably bowled so many balls um, to get to that 500 wicket mark that they're on. If we played as many test matches, I feel that KG would have already been on 500. Congrats, KG, says Avish. Champion bowler for us for so many years. Tex says need a lead of 70. I would like a lead of 100 minimum. Avish says we need a lead of 100 at least to feel comfortable in this test. Can see this pitch deteriorating even more. Waka said Ryan looked promising. He did. And lost his wicket at the worst possible time. Ivan says Khalid bro is a batters getting starts and getting dismissed. Yeah, that's the problem with this team. They need to find a way on how to push on after they get good starts. MI says pathetic as usual. Pitch is easing up. Expect Bangladesh to score 300 plus and South Africa to struggle again, says MI. Let's see. I don't think that would be the case. Tex says tomorrow's first session will be good for batting. Need to take full advantage. Bernard says our batsmen once again showing how poor they are against spin. They made Islam seem like he's Jadeja or Herath. He is quite a good spinner though, Bernard. He took 200 wickets. He's down 200 wickets. He's now the second highest spinner or the highest wicket taker, second highest wicket taker for Bangladesh. Dirshan says, Khalid, I actually love the look of our top six now with Kyle at 7. There is no long tail anymore, 100%. Tex says, I don't think Bangladesh can make anything above 130 in their second innings. We'll have to wait and see how this pitch, if it pitch eases up, because then it's going to be a very long second innings, a difficult second innings. Sarah says Brewer should play instead of Brzezinski, and I believe we should stick to ODIs with Brzezinski. I don't agree with you there. I think that Brzezinski is a very talented player. I think he just didn't expect. I think he just expected the ball to turn like the rest of the balls were, and it actually just kept straight. He will learn from this, and I think we'll see his true colors in the second innings, hopefully. Sarath says, really impressed with Rickleton, his approach to the innings on a tough wicket, and the cap he wore reminded me of vintage cricket. Sarah says, Markram is running out of opportunities. Tirshan says, Brzezinski is an all-format player, bro, and a real deal. Brevis is not ready yet. I think Brevis needs to more time in four-day cricket. I mean, I'd love it. Obviously, it will be great for him if he does play Test cricket and I get to see him in the whites. I mean, that's a dream. But we must be patient with him as well. Don't try to rush him too quickly into things. We should be chasing as less at least it can as less as it can get, because batting fourth on this wicket will be a nightmare. It is going to be. That's why we should try and put as much on the board, bowl them out cheaply. They'll be bat majority of day three and not day four. She should aim for a 100-run lead. I agree. Shikar says very disappointed with Markram. Wasn't that great a delivery as he made it look? It came off, bro. It angled in off fifth stump and it knocked over his middle stump. That ball angled in a lot. Yes, he could have maybe played it better, but I don't. As an opening batter, if you get a delivery like that, you wouldn't expect it in the first session, in the first 2 overs of the 3 overs of a game. You wouldn't expect the ball to angle off the pitch that much so soon on a day one of a test match. So I can kind of forgive him for losing his wicket in this one. Um, but he's going to need to be better in the second innings. Tariq says opportunity for Kyle Verreynne for a century. Whoa, that's asking a lot, I think, on this wicket. But yeah, maybe. Shikar says Khalid do a show on WTC scenarios after the series. We will have a look at the table and talk about that as well. Um, Sarah says, but if this batting unit clicks, it's one heck of a line of aggressive batters. Yes, and they are in the learning curve. They are in the progression curve, the transformation curve at the moment, where they are trying to get these players up to scratch. Unfortunately, what's happening here is that we don't play near enough test matches for these players to learn quickly. They almost have to learn on the job here. So Coach Shukri has to pick players based on mentality and based on natural ability and attitude, particularly, and temperament, and then teach them as we go along, test to test, because we don't get many test matches and there's massive gaps in between test matches. On top of it, we have multi formats in between, particularly T20 cricket, and that can really mess up your technique when you're hopping around from test to T20 to test and ODI, etc. Not so much ODI and test, but T20 and test can really mess you up, because your approach against a spinner in a T20 is going to be completely different to your approach against a spinner in a test match with a red ball. We should play in the batting friendly wicket for a change. Recently, all test series have been on tough wickets, 100%. These players, a majority of them have been playing on bad wickets. Even though in the India test match against, the matches against India in South Africa, that Newland's wicket gave everybody a problem. And this team has been learning very quickly what can happen at the test level. I don't remember the last time we scored over 400, missed those long innings. I mean, yeah, well, we scored a hell of a lot of runs against the West Indies. So we've done pretty decently there against the West Indies at home when they came here and away. So, yeah, I feel that we'll get up to that level again in the near future. But yeah, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to subscribe. Click that notification bell for all future videos. I'll be doing these review shows directly after the day's play. So please click the notification bell to get notified on when we will be going live, because I don't always get to put out um, the graphic or promotion before this, because I go live directly after I post my report. And normally I will put the link to this video in the report as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow after the day's play again. Let's hope South Africa can take a nice lead by the time I speak to you guys tomorrow. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out, everyone.